Once upon a time before TikTok, avocado toast, and three-letter government agencies watching your group chats, a few powdered wig rebels created the most radical political experiment in human history. It was called a constitutional republic. Not a democracy, not a monarchy, not even a gender-fluid technocracy with AI overlords. Nope. Just a good old-fashioned system where government was small, power was separated, and the citizen, not the celebrity, was sovereign. Benjamin Franklin was asked what form of government they had created. He said, a republic, if you can keep it. To which America promptly replied, challenge accepted. Let's wreck it in 250 years or less. The founders kept it simple. Step 1, limit government. Step 2, separate powers. Step 3, don't screw it up. They gave us 3 branches, not a Department of Feelings, not a Ministry of Climate Therapy, and definitely not a White House TikTok czar. They wrote down what the federal government could do, and more importantly, what it couldn't. Spoiler alert, regulate your lawnmower's carbon footprint was not on the list. Now the founders were smart guys, but even they didn't see this coming. A government big enough to control your thermostat, a media big enough to decide what you think, and elections where the best-funded candidate wins. Like a political game show, minus the dignity. We didn't lose the republic overnight. We sold it off. One regulation, one donation, one executive order at a time. Once upon a time, public office was about duty, honor, and serving the people. Now, it's more like an online auction, with billionaires playing the role of high bidders, and freedom as the clearance item. Running for office used to mean shaking hands and kissing babies. Today it means groveling for campaign donations like a broken turn on LinkedIn. Forget winning votes, win donors. And if your policies happen to help 300 million Americans? Hey, lucky coincidence. Let's be clear, conservatives love capitalism. What we don't love? Crony capitalism, where businesses don't compete, they collude. These aren't rugged entrepreneurs, these are boardroom bureaucrats, using lobbyists to pass laws your grandma wouldn't be allowed to read without redacted glasses. They're not earning profits by serving the public. They're harvesting tax dollars like subsidies or a cash crop. Here's the part they don't teach in civics class. Most of the laws passed in DC aren't written by Congress. They're ghostwritten by lobbyists, like political fan fiction, but with way worse consequences. While you're worrying about potholes and gas prices, corporate lawyers are busy rewriting tax codes, burying competition, and making sure no one at Apple ever pays more than $11 in taxes. Who needs representation when you've got representation by proxy? And while the donor class gets richer, what do you get? Oh, just inflation, $6 gas, more IRS agents, and a government that couldn't fill a pothole with a $1 trillion infrastructure bill. You work, they spend, you pay, they lobby. And every time they say we're investing in America, what they really mean is they're investing in themselves. They say every American has a voice. They just forgot to mention some voices come with super PACs, private jets, and lobbyists on speed dial. What is an NGO? Well, technically it's a non-governmental organization, but really it's more like not getting overthrown because we're unelected. NGOs have mastered the ancient political art of looking harmless while doing ridiculous amounts of damage, like a friendly cat, holding a Molotov cocktail. They don't run for office, they don't pass laws, but somehow they influence policy, elections, media, culture, and even your kid's curriculum, all without ever facing a single voter. These groups always sound noble. We protect democracy. We fight misinformation. We help refugees. Translation: we manipulate elections, silence your speech, and sue your governor if he tries to enforce the border. Their mission statements are always vague, poetic, and suspiciously global. Promoting inclusive resilience through multilateral synergy. What does that mean? No one knows, not even them. But rest assured, it ends with someone in Brussels telling your sheriff what to do. You may have voted in your last election, but so did George Soros' accountants, several Swiss billionaires, and a few philanthropists who summer in Davos. NGOs now assist elections by buying drop boxes, printing ballots, and educating voters, usually with a strong political suggestion wrapped in a friendly infographic. It's like hiring the referee's cousin to monitor your boxing match. Spoiler alert, you're not gonna win. And if the voters still don't cooperate, no problem, just drag the state into court. NGOs specialize in lawfare, suing states over voter ID laws, immigration enforcement, school curricula, bathroom signage, and whether your kid is allowed to say the word boy. In the name of equity, they weaponize the court system to override elections. Because who needs 51% of the vote when you've got one activist judge and a donor list longer than the Constitution? And the best part? It's all wrapped in the magical phrase, civil society. Which sounds nice until you realize it means a network of foreign-funded, ideology-driven, unelected activists making decisions for your town, your school, and your country. NGOs are the Trojan horse of modern politics, parked outside your gate, offering free grants, inclusive workshops, and federal overreach gift-wrapped in diversity training. Once upon a time, journalism was about facts, hard questions, and holding the powerful accountable. Today, it's about making you scared, confused, and weirdly obsessed with what celebrities think about climate change. Welcome to the modern media complex, where truth is optional, outrage is profitable, and sources say means we made this up 8 minutes ago. It's not news, it's programming, and you're the target audience, unless you're thinking for yourself, in which case, you're the threat. Here's a fun fact your civics teacher skipped. 90% of what you see, hear, and read in the news comes from 6 corporations. That's not a marketplace of ideas. That's a cartel with a press pass. Whether it's big pharma, big tech, or big government, if the money's big enough, the coverage gets quiet enough. Ever notice how every other segment is sponsored by Pfizer? And how those segments just happen to say nothing but glowing things about Pfizer? It's amazing what $10 billion in advertising will do to your integrity. And by amazing, we mean terrifying. Now toss in government agencies feeding suggested narratives to reporters, and boom, you've got state media with a nicer studio and better lighting. Remember when journalists used to expose corruption? Now they just deplatform it. If you ask the wrong question about an election, a vaccine, a war, or what gender even means, suddenly you're a conspiracy theorist. And your uncle thinks you've joined a militia. They don't debate dissent, they blacklist it. Because nothing says free press like coordinated censorship between big media and big tech. The job of a free press is to keep the people informed and the government nervous. Instead, they keep the government comfortable and the people sedated. They feed you rage when they want ratings, fear when they want compliance, and silence when you might actually ask a good question. This isn't journalism, it's marketing, and the product is whatever the powerful are selling this week. A free press speaks truth to power, a captured press sells truth to the highest bidder. In a healthy republic, the media questions government, corporations compete in the free market, NGOs stay out of your elections, and bureaucrats stay in their tiny offices filing paperwork. But in our modern reality TV version of the Republic, they've all moved in together. They share a fridge, they share talking points, and most importantly, they share control. This isn't a conspiracy. It's just a really awkward, open relationship between elites. And your freedom is the third wheel. You thought corporations and the government were separate? That's cute. From bailouts to climate deals to health mandates, these two are in sync like a high school musical, but with worse choreography and way more surveillance. Big business gets tax breaks, big government gets obedience. You get the bill. And let's not forget the rest of the gang. NGOs whispering in politicians' ears, media repeating it on air, bureaucrats writing 4,000 pages of policy while your congressman plays Candy Crush. None of these people were elected, but together they operate the world's most passive-aggressive tyranny, telling you what to think, what to drive, what to believe, and how many booster shots will get you into heaven. This isn't fascism. No, that's too harsh. Today we call it public-private partnership. It's like fascism with branding. Same results, less goose-stepping, more press releases. When every major institution speaks with one voice, censors with one algorithm, and punishes with one set of coordinated guidelines, you're not living in a democracy. You're living in a corporate HR presentation with tanks. They'll tell you it's for your safety, for equity, for sustainability, for democracy. But the truth is simpler. They like control, and you're easier to manage when you're obedient, distracted, and too busy trying to afford eggs. The free market is gone, the free press is captured, and the free citizen? Still out there somewhere, paying taxes and yelling at their TV. when corporations, bureaucrats, NGOs, and media speak with one voice. It's no longer a conversation, it's an instruction. You've made it this far without being censored, banned, or audited? Welcome to the resistance. Or, as the founders called it, being a citizen. We don't need a revolution. We just need to use the system we already have. It's called the Constitution. 4,400 words, pocket-sized, and more powerful than a DC press pass. Let's address the obvious. Corporate money doesn't belong in campaigns unless you want your representative brought to you by Pepsi. Super PACs, dark money, donor dynasties. They're not supporting freedom. They're investing in influence. Want elections back? Start by making them too cheap for Wall Street to buy. DC isn't your boss, it's your employee. Federalism means letting states govern themselves like adults. California can compost feelings. Texas can keep its brisket and borders. That's the deal. We don't need 400 federal offices regulating light bulbs, feelings, and farming. If your agency needs a PR team to explain its purpose, maybe it shouldn't exist. Cut it. Sunset it. Localize it. Freedom starts where fear stops. Think for yourself, speak your mind, and vote like your liberty depends on it, because it does. You don't need to be famous. You need to be present. The Republic wasn't built by experts, it was built by people who showed up. And it still can be.